Springsteen Deliver Me From Nowhere came out to mixed reviews, currently having 59% on Rotten Tomatoes, which isn't where you want to be if your film was expected to win an Oscar. And that's why I'm going to prove all these critics wrong! Hi, I'm Eddie C, and Springsteen is a beautiful movie about the creative process and dealing with your own mental deterioration. Unlike many other Springsteen fans, I didn't grow up listening to him. None of my family were particularly big fans of him. I actually discovered him myself through Tommy Innit.
Mom! Am I adopted?
Yeah!
Thank you, Tom. So I started listening to The Boss as an adult, which gave me a great appreciation and understanding for the lyrics of his songs. So I just had to watch the movie. I watched the film in an Odeon in Brighton, and it was a true spectacle. The film got its title from the book it's based on, called Deliver Me From Nowhere. But where did the book get its title from? The last line of the song State Trooper is Deliver Me From Nowhere. Deliver Me From Nowhere is a line that can relate to how Bruce recorded the Nebraska album. He was in isolation in his own head dealing with his depression. He was in nowhere, wanting to be delivered out of this state into a better state of mind. It's less of a movie and more of a deep dive into real world problems, such as people not believing in your ideas, dealing with your past, and accepting the fact that you need help. I've never watched anything with Jeremy Allen White in it beforehand, and I can safely say he has done an amazing job. He encapsulates the style and aura, and most importantly, the voice of Bruce Springsteen. I believe this is a truly Oscar-worthy performance, even just for his performance of Born in the USA. I literally can't tell the difference between Jeremy and Bruce. It's just such a shame that this film was highly criticized, as it likely means that Springsteen won't be considered for an Oscar. There's a sort of apprehension when it comes to biopics, as they aren't viewed as works of art, instead rather being seen as just retelling a real story, criticizing every little thing it got wrong. But these films are made with passion by directors, actors, writers, editors, real people, real creative people creating art, just for it to be handicapped by having the genre of biopic. The main plot to Springsteen Deliver Me From Nowhere is Bruce coming off the success of Born to Run and The River, and he needs to make a new album. The film details the creation of Nebraska, an album very intimate and close to Bruce. Nebraska is Bruce's 6th album, and his creative process is shown in high quality. In 1982, Bruce rented out a house in Colts Neck, New Jersey. New Jersey is the place Bruce was from, so he was returning to his roots to create a personal record, different to anything he's done before. In the film, we see the whole creation of Nebraska, starting with the first song on the record, Starkweather. Bruce was inspired by the murder spree of Charles Starkweather after he watched the film Badlands. He researched the actual killer after watching the film and wrote the story of Starkweather in song form. But as time went on, he changed the pronouns in the song from him and he to me and I. He changed the perspective of the song to be told by Starkweather himself. Starkweather killed 11 people in Nebraska and Wyoming when he was just 19 years old. During his spree, he was accompanied by his 14-year-old girlfriend, Carol Fugate. Ugh, come on dude, I know you're a killer and all, but date someone your own age. They were both caught and sentenced for their parts in the homicides. Carol got 17 years in jail and was released in 1976. Starkweather, on the other hand, was sentenced to death. In 1959, Charles Starkweather was executed by the electric chair. This was the last execution in Nebraska until 1994, which means at the time of the creation of the Nebraska album, his execution was the last in Nebraska ever. Bruce sat on his bedroom floor, using a Tascam Porta Studio 4-track cassette recorder and 2 Shure SM57 microphones. He recorded Starkweather. But after he recorded it, he decided to change the name from Starkweather to just Nebraska. The creative process shown in this film is just so realistic and true to actual creative practices. The constant changes throughout the writing and the inspiration and research, and even after performing the song, he still changed the name. It gives the film another deep layer of authenticity. Creative projects constantly change and evolve through development. As a creative person myself, I found myself relating to this creative process. If you don't believe me, I got a palm reading and it said I was creative, so blah. I may not be a rock star singer, although that would be sick though. Can you imagine an Eddie C concert? But I am a YouTuber, and the songwriting process relates a lot to the script writing process. First, you need to find what the script or song will be about. You need to find the inspiration. So for this video, the inspiration was the film Springsteen Deliver Me From Nowhere. For Nebraska, Bruce's inspiration was the killing spree of Charles Starkweather. You then need to research your inspiration and make it your own, be it retelling the story or analyzing the complex themes. Changes happen all throughout the development of scripts and songs. Bruce changed the perspective of the song to be from Starkweather's point of view. I was originally going to have this video be a recap and explanation of Springsteen, but instead decided to focus in on the themes explored in the film, such as creativity and the mental state. And finally, Bruce renamed his song from Starkweather to Nebraska. And as of writing this script, the title of this video is called Defending Springsteen Deliver Me From Nowhere, which could change in the final product, and you can see and check that right now. In this rental house in New Jersey, we get to see Bruce write the whole track list for Nebraska, including some future songs such as Born in the USA and I'm on Fire. Bruce writes all these songs down in a little notepad, something any artist can relate to, be it ideas for a story, sketches of a character, thumbnail ideas. We have all used the notepad to jot down little ideas. Bruce is shown to be just like us. We can relate to him and his personal experiences, being further exemplified by the Nebraska album being recorded in isolation, with no band, no fancy setup, just Bruce, a guitar, and a harmonica. Bruce intended for these songs he recorded on the cassette recorder to be a blueprint for the band to come together and recreate. But the sound of the original raw tape felt so special to Bruce. The speed glitched and slowed down, while also giving it an echo. So what you're telling me is that Bruce Springsteen discovered slow down reverb way back in '82 before TikTok did? No, this isn't an Undertale video, but determination does come into play a lot in this film. In particular, with Bruce's determination to release the demo tapes as they were. Bruce took the tapes to the E Street Band, where they recorded each and every song together, with a big production for a public release. But as Bruce listened back to the songs, he felt that they had only made it worse. In his 2016 memoir, Born to Run, Bruce Springsteen stated that, "I realized I'd succeeded in doing nothing but damaging what I'd created. We got it to sound cleaner, more hi-fi, but not nearly as atmospheric, as authentic." Bruce was obsessed with this authentic, raw, and murky sound he created in that bedroom in New Jersey. He decided that the only way to release these songs was in their original, raw form. Contrary to most other biopics, the manager in this film is actually a good guy. John Landau is Bruce's manager, and you can see throughout this film how much appreciation and respect Landau has for Bruce. He's there for him through thick and thin, being there for him as a manager, helping him get songs out and organizing tours, while also being there for him as a friend and helping him through his depression, which we will get into later. Bruce constantly demands that they have to release the demo songs as they are, and even though this was a huge risk to take, Landau helped Bruce do it. Oh, Coke is so good. They hired many technical engineers to try and master the demo recordings for a release, but none of them sounded the same. This stressed Bruce out a lot, as these songs were the only things making sense to him at the time. Seeing how emotional Bruce was getting over these songs, it made Landau even more determined to get them released. Toby Scott finally managed to master the original tapes to create a mix to be released. Springsteen and Landau's determination and patience paid off, as they finally got the mix they wanted. This shows how important staying true to your craft is. If Bruce recorded the new versions of the songs and released them like that, it would have ate him up in the inside, as those songs were a part of him. Sometimes you can't explain why you need to do something a certain way, you just feel it in your soul that you have to. The messages of the song are so special and personal to him, and the only way for these stories to be told was in a raw, authentic way. This film teaches us that you shouldn't let personal sentimental things be tainted by others. If it's personal to you, let it be yours. That's not to say you shouldn't share some of your personal works, as Born in the USA and I'm on Fire was recorded and released with the E Street Band playing. Listening to Nebraska makes you feel like you're in the room with Bruce, and he's telling you all these stories with a guitar, creating a truly brilliant and creative listening experience. Bruce Springsteen is a rock star, and there's a reason why he's the boss. He is one of the best to ever do it, and that's because of how brilliant he is at storytelling. His albums are masterpieces, containing little stories sung to you in creative ways. Nebraska is Bruce's darkest album, and to get it out, he needed to believe in himself. Nebraska was one of the biggest risks Bruce took, with it being a sharp detour from the rocking songs he had previously released. Bruce believed in Nebraska. He didn't want his face on the album cover, he didn't want any tours, no press, he just wanted to release it as it was, and let it find its own way. This caused producers to be skeptical about Nebraska, thinking this was a stupid decision, making fun at Landau thinking he was joking. But Landau, being the GOAT he is, pushed for Bruce's dream of Nebraska, saying, "In this office, we believe in Bruce Springsteen."
We believe in Bruce Springsteen.
Oh man, could you imagine that? In this office, we believe in Eddie C. Belief in yourself is so important. Bruce believed in his ability, and Nebraska reached number 3 in the charts. No matter how many doubters you have, if you know you have the ability and you can see that dream in front of you, don't let anyone stop you. People succumbing to all their doubters and quitting is what is killing creativity. People end up working dead-end jobs they hate until they retire. A boy could dream of becoming a comic book artist but end up working alone in a factory. A girl could dream about being a doctor but end up working in sales. Don't let your dreams escape you, because each and every one of you have the capacity to make them come true. My dream is for YouTube to become my full-time job. I've never felt so passionate about anything before in my life, and I know I can do it. With enough perseverance, I can make my dream come true. That's why it would mean a lot to me if you would subscribe to my channel. to help that dream come true. Creativity is one of the most wonderful things in the world, and we all have it. So don't let others stop you from sharing your creativity with the world. In this society, it's hard to make an honest living out of any creative job, with most successful people just being lucky. But I'd say success comes with just a tiny bit of luck. What's important is your perseverance. If you want it, go and get it. Like Bruce, I have had many doubters saying the dream is unrealistic, but I should look for another path, a more secure job. But if it ain't like this, I don't want it. Not to sound like an egomaniac, but I know I have the ability to succeed. So don't give up on your dreams and be like Bruce. Believe in yourself.
Man turned his back on his family, he just ain't no good.
The opening scene of Springsteen Deliver Me From Nowhere is in black and white. We are getting a peek at the childhood of the boss. It shows Bruce at such a young age having to go into a pub and retrieve his drunk father to get him to come home. Bruce Springsteen's father struggled with alcoholism and bipolar disorder. This led to Bruce having a difficult upbringing with him and their relationship being strained. He would often hit Bruce, trying to toughen him up for fights, often getting into verbal fights with Bruce's mother. No parent should ever hit their child, as this heavily scars them for life at such a developmental age. Alcoholism is a tragic reality in the real world, with people self-medicating their own sadness with alcohol, trying to flush out their problems by ignoring it with the aid of alcohol. The tragic truth is that almost everyone in the world knows someone close to them who is affected by alcoholism. This addiction doesn't just affect the addict, but also the people around them too, whether it be through drunken fights or through grief due to the countless deaths caused by alcohol. Seeing the effect alcohol has on people is so disheartening. To see someone you look up to and respect act mindlessly in a drunken way and hurting the people around them is enough to scar anyone. Alcoholism can lead to loss of contact with family members. It's a sickness that is spreading through the world at a rampant rate. About 3.5% of adult Americans struggle with an alcohol-related disorder. It's become a joke in the modern day, with people saying, "Whoa, I'm such an alcoholic, I love beer." But these jokes can often lead to actual alcoholism, and before you know it, you're in this hole that you dug for yourself that is difficult to get out of. If you or someone you know is struggling with alcoholism, please seek professional help. It does help and you can get through this. The effect of his father's alcoholism is reflected through Bruce's music, with My Father's House and Used Cars being about his father. Through the writing of Nebraska, Bruce is reliving all these memories of his childhood, returning to the place he grew up, telling the stories of his relationship with his father, getting them off his chest in this form of therapy. His fans relate to these songs, with him helping millions of people worldwide with their own issues, as they know they are not alone with these struggles. Bruce's father is still alive in the time period that this film is set in, and Bruce faces his father as an adult. After a show, Bruce's father is backstage waiting for him. He tells him he is proud of him, telling him to sit on his lap. Bruce says he has never sat on his father's lap before, and his father is shocked at this. He can't remember bringing up Bruce. Through being constantly drunk, he lost so many years to the bottle, including the upbringing of Bruce. At first, I thought this was the film setting up dementia, until I realized it's about the memory loss of alcohol.
This is your hometown.
Bruce Springsteen struggles with depression in this film. His depression is linked to his family history, with his father's struggles with mental disorders and his own life experiences. One of the main messages of the film is that it's okay to ask for help. There's a stigma around men asking for help with their mental state, as people say it's weak. But one of the strongest things you can do is ask for help. Bruce struggled alone for the majority of the film, being in isolation, creating Nebraska. His mental state deteriorated over time. Due to his busy work life and mental state, he ignored his at-the-time girlfriend, leading to their tragic breakup. If Bruce spoke up about how he'd been struggling, maybe they could have stayed together. Especially in this time period, people were brought up to think that asking for help was embarrassing. Nebraska is so important to Bruce, as he channeled all his deep interpersonal feelings into these songs. Making songs is his own way of therapy, the only way he stayed together for all his time. But his mind is at his breaking point. After the release of Nebraska, John Landau noticed the state Bruce was in and urged him to get professional help. People don't know how to give voice to their pain and suffer in silence. I hope that with this movie it encourages people to seek the help they need, be it with depression, addiction, anything. It shows how even someone as legendary as Bruce Springsteen still needs help. The final point I'm going to talk about today is the magic of hearing Bruce Springsteen's music in a theater. The rush you get with the speakers booming and the visuals showing Jeremy Allen White disappearing and becoming Bruce Springsteen singing Born in the USA is otherworldly. Jeremy never learned to sing before Springsteen, and the way he sings exactly like Bruce in this film is incredible. Born in the USA destroyed his vocal cords and he lost his voice. That's how devoted he was to this performance. Not only that, but he had only 6 months to learn to play the guitar before filming, which is an incredible feat that he achieved. I believe that for the best way for music to be heard is live, and the closest thing you can get to that is in the cinema, and it was truly magical. This film is on fire.
Born in the USA! Born in the USA!
I sure hope you did enjoy that video because I put a lot of thought into it and these topics mean a lot to me. I listened to Nebraska on repeat whilst writing this script, and I've got to say my favorite song on that album has definitely got to be Highway Patrolman. It's a song about a highway patrolman called Joe Roberts. He's torn between his duty to uphold the law and his familial loyalty to his brother Frankie. Frankie is the unruly brother of the two and gets into trouble, while Joe is the more responsible one who comes to Frankie's aid. One night, Joe gets a call that a boy has been seriously attacked and left in a serious critical condition. A girl crying at a table tells Joe that it was Frankie who did it. Joe chases Frankie throughout rural Michigan until Frankie manages to cross the Canada-USA border. It's implied that Joe let Frankie escape, with the lyrics being, "When it's your brother, you look the other way." Joe pulled up on the side of the highway and watched as Frankie's taillights disappeared.